BWTM Online here with Jeff Powell from the Daily Mail. Jeff, see, it's your responsibility to write and tell the readers about what's going on between Terence Crawford and Amir Khan. Tell us, in your opinion, where you see this fight going.
Well, clearly Crawford will be the favourite. This is a very talented man. He's undefeated, considered among the top 3 or 4 pound-for-pound fighters in the world on current form. So yes, he's the favourite, but nothing like the favourite as quoted by some bookmakers at 1 to 10 on. This is a sort of almost an insult to Amir. As Crawford himself said, he's still one of the fastest, if not the fastest, punchers in the world. He's extremely naturally talented. He's courageous. He has been knocked out 2 or 3 times, but he, in the course of those fights, especially the one with Canelo, he was outboxing Canelo until he caught a big right hand from a heavier guy. So this is a much more competitive fight than the bookmakers have started off thinking. There's a possibility that if Khan could keep his cool and box him at long range throughout the fight, that it would be a very close fight. We'd still have Crawford as the marginal favourite if that happened, but it wouldn't be beyond all realms of possibility that Khan could outpoint him. I think if he decides to trade, which he tends to do, he loves a fight, he's a naturally instinctive fighter. And when he gets hit and he goes to hit back, if he gets caught in trading and exchanging, then he is at risk of being stopped again. But I think it's a better fight than people are imagining. A lot of people are saying, oh, Amir's got no chance. That may play to his advantage, because if Crawford starts to believe that, then that could help Amir.
What do you think, in your professional opinion, is the reason why Brook Khan still hasn't been made?
They were probably waiting for it to ferment. Both were probably guilty of overcooking it in some ways to try to make it bigger, and their promoters were involved with that too. I don't believe either is reluctant to fight the other, although Brook was a bit reluctant at the start, Amir looked a bit reluctant later. But Amir has been chasing the bigger fights, the global recognition fights. He's more a warrior of the world than Kel. You know, he'll travel anywhere and fight the biggest names. And I think what it's come down to at the end is that in terms of how Amir perceives his legacy, he'd have taken the Brook fight if Crawford hadn't come along. Crawford means more to him internationally and in terms of how he's remembered long term. If he could beat Crawford, become a world champion for the 3rd time, taking out one of the top boxers in the business at the moment, he would move into pound-for-pound recognition, and his place in the history of the game would be even more secure than it is now.
Where does Kell Brook go from there?
Kell is in some difficulty, isn't he? He's had both eye sockets cracked open. It must be a concern for him every time he fights that he doesn't get further serious damage. Kell's probably coming to the end, and I'd be careful how he's matched. If I were him and if I were Eddie, I would be careful about how to match him. He's still talented, he's still gutsy, but he's probably actually closer to the end than Amir.
Dillian Whyte, he seems to be in a bit of a situation because it doesn't look like he's going to get a Joshua fight, and Wilder's tied up with Fury, it looks. So then, where does Dillian Whyte go from here? This talk about Vladimir Klitschko coming back and fighting. Where does Dillian Whyte fit in?
Well, Vladimir Klitschko has discounted the speculation as an early April Fool's joke, so we can remove him from it. He says, I still feel I could do it, but I'm not going to do it. And that's part of much of the hoopla that surrounds the Anthony Joshua situation. In a sense, by holding out always for the lion's share of the money, whoever is doing that in that camp, whether it be Eddie Hearn or AJ's collection of new sort of quite trendy young bright businessmen around him, or even if it were to be AJ himself, which I doubt, holding out for always for the sizable majority of the cash all the time, has ended up with them being slightly caught on the side by Fury fighting Wilder. and it's left them without, for the moment, an opponent at Wembley. I think the penny's dropped that for all Dillian's sort of great effort since he was beaten, knocked out by Joshua, the public are not really ecstatic about the idea of a Joshua Wright rematch. Increasingly, the failures to come to terms, for whatever fault it may be, or either sides, the failure to come to terms with Wilder has reached the point now that the British public expect Joshua to fight the bigger names in the game. If he can get Wilder or Fury into the ring in April, that would be very much, I think, in favour of how he's perceived by the public. But that's been kind of, they've been kind of blindsided on that by what's happened with Fury and Wilder, and that's made life a little difficult for him. You know, basically they're in the slipstream of the great fight in Los Angeles.
Do you feel, what is your thoughts on Jarrell Miller being ahead of the queue instead of Dillian Whyte?
I don't think he's ahead of the queue. I think they would like to fight Wilder or Fury, I think, but there still appears to be a reluctance to offer an equal share of the money. There seems to be no acceptance that Wilder is in fact the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and the size of the office is now not being mentioned. But since the Wilder team were saying, you know, Eddie will talk again as long as you don't go broadcasting publicly everything that happens. Since Eddie is now saying, well, we're sending other emails and we're making offers and we're not getting any answers, that tells me that that is a dead duck at the moment. I cling to the opinion that, that AJ is a natural-born, natural street fighter. That he would fight anybody, regardless of the commercial situation, within range.
Yes.
You want to be paid properly. But he would fight anybody. He'd fight King Kong, and I don't mean Luis Ortiz. I'm talking
Yes.
about the one on top of the Empire State
Yes.
Building. I think he would fight anybody. In his heart, he is a fighter. But the financial machinations, he's got to be careful he doesn't lose that respect. And I don't think that would be his own fault, and that would be a pity.
Interesting. There's been some rumours flying around that Eddie Hearn offered Tyson Fury the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua April 13th. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Fury's initial reaction when this was first mooted some months ago was that he would see himself as the A-side attraction and he would want 60-40 in his favour. Now clearly they wouldn't get that, but I think that Tyson wouldn't accept anything less than parity, 50-50. He's become a huge figure in the public eye again with the draw with Wilder, and I don't think they'll give him 50-50. And if they won't, then that fight won't happen.
Last point, Harold Graham, it's good to see him around. Well,
yes.
Your thoughts?
On Harold, one of the great people of our history, wonderful guy, always it's as much a delight to see him and talk to him today as it was to watch him fight.
Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game that's coming out on PC, Xbox and PS4. BWTM Sports are the official channel for this game that's coming out. Some great fighters are part of the game. Henry Armstrong's part of the game. We talked to his grandson quite recently, gave us his blessings. Zab Judah, the Camachos, Vargas. The list goes on of fighters. Kelly Pavlik, Austin Trout. What do you think of video games and boxing?
I'm of pensionable age. It means absolutely nothing to me. It's beyond my comprehension. I'm an old Luddite. I'm still struggling with new technology.
But you're still a writer.
Yes, and I love all the old names. But no, that is not something that crosses my radar.
Okay. We thought we'd ask you anyway.
Okay. I wish them luck. And if everybody can make something from it, I'm pleased if the old fighters make something from it.
Jeff Powell, thank you so much.
My pleasure.